All right, guys, new stock, let's talk. Core Assets is the company. They had an exciting news release come out this morning. But before we get into that, Dawson, can you break down the company? Tell us what they're about.
Yeah, for sure. Core Assets has been a long time favorite of the boys. We've been shareholders for quite some time, and we're really bullish going into 2024 with it. So Core Assets Corp, in short, is an early stage CRD story. And to my knowledge, they're the earliest stage CRD story out there right now. And with these CRD stories, CRD, carbonate replacement deposit, they're very complex. They have all sorts of spokes and everything, and they're really hard to read. They're not your simple sedimentary deposit, or they're very complex and they're very hard to read. But the thing is they pay their dividends once proven. If you can nail down one of these CRD deposits and prove it up, they become some of the most profitable, high grade, and largest mines in the world. So if you can find one of these early stage CRD stories with, promising results and you get in early, you can seriously bank on them because they turn out to be massive successes in the end, but they're just very tough and they're very limited out there. But Core Assets Corp has been proving their thesis day over day on their CRD system. When they set out there to find a porphyry with a CRD feeder, and in 2 years, they found that porphyry and multiple CRD systems, which would take most companies, an average of 10, 12 years to do. So Core Assets Corp has absolutely been crushing timelines, and they've been proving their thesis day over day, and season over season, they've been, making their story more compelling and stronger.
Right. So this sounds really great. So let's talk about the news release. So what's going on there?
Yeah, so the whole reason we're actually doing this today is they had a news release up this morning, which fired us up. So at their, main mineralization target down at Silver Lime, they've already had very impressive silver, zinc, lead, and copper grades there. I think a little bit of gold too, but mainly silver is kind of, their strong point. So I think they just did extend their mineralization to 2.5 kilometers in strike. So where they had their highest grade results last year at Galley, I think yielding over 1,000 grams per ton silver, they just had some grab samples 850 meters south, extending that strike length another 850 meters to a total of 2.5 kilometers. And those grab samples they just got back ran over 1,170 grams per ton silver, which is crazy, knowing they have that high grade of silver over 2.5 kilometers in strike. In mining, you need two things. You need grade and you need scale, and they're proving both these things at their Silver Lime target. It could turn out to be a beast after this 2024 drill season if they can put one hole in there into that, over 1,000 grams per ton silver and prove an intercept underneath that of over 1,000 grams per ton silver. That kind of grade over that strike length, definitely start to turn some heads now, and we're stoked to be part of it.
All right, so that sounds amazing. What are we looking forward to rolling into 2024?
Yeah, 2024 will be a super exciting year for Core Assets. Not only do we have the news today that they've just found some very high grade new zones, we call them actually bonanza grade zones. Just to put in perspective, anything over 200 grams per ton silver is considered high grade, and when you're yanking 1170 grams per ton silver equivalent at surface, it's quite significant. That is something you want to follow up on. And it's not like it's just their only target. Like that, they already have high grade silver. Now they've extended to high grade silver, meaning they have a massive zone, and if they can, fill the pieces in, connect the dots, just kind of imagine what you have there. But I'm getting sidetracked here. But what can we look forward to in 2024? Definitely that target is one thing I am looking forward to them testing out. I want them to get a drill in that ASAP. I want them to pull some of those intercepts underneath the surface so they can really prove it, which every time they say they'll do something, they essentially prove it up. The story's been pretty smooth so far, so we'll see what happens there. But late 2023, they put out this 3D IP survey. 3D IP survey, you probably have no fucking idea what that is. Honestly, me neither, really. But all I know is that it looks for high charge zones in the earth. So when you find high charge, it generally means mineralization, and we know, what kind of mineralization they have. They have silver, copper, zinc, lead. And in the 3D IP survey here, you can see that they've already found their porphyry right here, their porphyry feeder to their CRD system. And, the IP survey completely says, yeah, you're right. Here's your porphyry, here's your CRD system. And you can see they haven't even really tested the best of that porphyry in CRD. They barely even put their drill into the tip of that porphyry. It's way bigger than they could even imagine. And the best part is over to the left, they have a whole new target they haven't even tested yet. It's just completely unknown to them. So, the last two years of drilling have been absolutely insane, and I don't think they could have done any better. I think every single hole, or 90% of holes, have hit mineralization, which is crazy for a new story. They just went in there like cowboys, start poking holes and getting over 90% mineralization. And that's just of what they were guessing. And now with this IP survey, which I call the blueprint, they have a whole new system over there they haven't even tested yet. So going into 2024, they have the blueprint for a super successful drill season. They've been, ultimately successful with almost just luck. I wouldn't call it luck. I'd call it, a really good fucking property. But now that they have the blueprint, they know exactly where to drill for 2024. So I can't imagine how successful this season will be. If they did that with no data before, what are they going to do this year with the drill data? And that drill data is quite powerful, especially those 3D IP surveys. I mean, just look at it. Just look what they did based off of essentially guessing, and now look what they can do with the blueprint in front of them. That 1,170 grams per ton silver just further adds to the narrative of this 3D IP survey, saying, yeah, those high charge zones are high grade silver. We are running over 1,000 grams per ton silver in those high charge zones. And they have more high charge zones to test, and they have a whole other, which looks like it could be a porphyry over here. I don't know, I'm not a geologist once again. But one significant thing about these IP surveys are these little blueprints. I'm gonna call it blueprints. So it's just, it's what it is to me. It's a fucking blueprint. It's a map telling you where to poke holes. So Hercules Silver did one of these, and they put it out. It's pretty good news. Like they're like, look, we have some targets we need to test ASAP. Going to next drill season, they went and tested those targets, and their stock skyrocketed to $1.20 from I think about 20 cents, which is pretty crazy. So Core Assets now, with the grades they're already yielding, has the blueprint to go poke more holes in untested zones. I mean, I'm not going to say their stock's going to go from 10 cents to over $1, but that's what Hercules Silver used to get their stock to over $1.20. So, Core Assets could see something similar coming in the next 2024 drill season if they can yield some results in those new targets they haven't tested. So, this story, day by day, season by season, just becomes more massive and massive. I don't think we've had a month off in news for this company. It's growing like a fucking weed. So, identifying an early stage CRD story who is, on progress with their thesis and proving everything they said they'll do is a great opportunity, because like I said, if you can get in one of these CRD stories before they develop, there's a lot of money to be made there.
Right. So the story, the facts, the future, everything checks out. They're on the hill and they're ready to kill, but then again, we are gamblers, not advisors.
On the hill, ready to kill. I love it. But yeah, I mean, this project's got everything. It's got size, it's massive, bunch of targets, it's got scale, and it's got a blueprint for a bunch of success this year. It's still snowy up there right now, so can't expect any crazy assays coming back. But when they start drilling, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be heat. It's gonna be fired up, dude. Yeah.
So that's been Stock Talk. We're fired up. Thanks for watching.
Peace out, boys. Core Assets to the moon. Not financial advice.